Totally.
But anyways, what's up, guys? Good to see you. And obviously, I also got a letter from Bob Iger personally apologizing for all of the wokeness and saying that he is very, very sorry and he's going to change his ways. And we're never going to see a woke Disney movie ever again.
Huh. Well, it's funny because we do have some more super chats on that particular topic. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's going on in the world of Disney, and what's your take on Iger kind of suggesting that he wants to take Disney out of the cultural wars that some mean people unfortunately dragged Disney into without him doing anything to make that happen?
I forget. I was going to say complete bullshit, right? So obviously we found out through the expose that involving the relationship between Chapek and Iger, that indeed it was Iger and Iger's allies that actually wanted to press on with the political battle in the first place. We all knew that Iger was going to run for Democratic slots, like, potentially even for president at some point. That was his intention. So he's always had the political aspirations. He's always been the political one in Disney. So we know that that's his aspiration. I think what we're getting here is we see the blowback with Rachel Zegler, which to me, this is setting it up to be the biggest fail movie ever because of what they're doing here. And it's creating such a hatred towards Disney that they're saying, okay, maybe we're going to have to step back from that. But that being said, they're not changing any of their trajectories or their path. They're not saying, okay, we're going to recast these movies. They haven't done any of that yet. And because they haven't promised anything tangible, as we know with Disney, whenever they don't promise something very, very, very specific with a very specific timeline, very specific action steps, that means they're not going to do it. It's like the Disney D23 stuff, the blue sky announcements. That's all for stockholders and investment. It has nothing to do with actual practical plans. We saw with Walcott, 90% of the big things they were going to do, the major changes, the really big stuff like redoing Spaceship Earth, like the giant conference center that they were going to build inside of Epcot, they didn't do. And they replaced it with some rinky-dink meet and greets and some stuff that's really cheap and easy for them to do to slip in their new IP. It's not really up to par. So when it comes to statements, I imagine their statements are going to look a lot like Walcott. They're going to promise you a lot and deliver maybe 5% of that. So that's what I expect going forward with Disney.
Interesting. That sounds like some reasonable expectations.
Now, I will say there's one thing from the legal side that's very interesting here. I posted this on my Twitter, but within 30, 40, maybe 60 days max, we are going to get a ruling in the federal case. And what I think is happening is Disney is going to get an inkling from the judge whether they are going to win or lose their case. And they may preemptively withdraw or, drop the case or, pull it out saying, oh, we chose to do this rather than take the loss. Rather than get blown out of court, they may voluntarily withdraw their complaint. And because of that, they maybe say, oh, we're going in this direction of not being political because we're voluntarily stepping down. It's the whole, you're not firing me, I quit, right? So that whole thing may happen here very, 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 very soon. I'm actually thinking that that's the next 60 days. We're going to see some major action on both the federal and the state case because there's also a summary judgment motion. They may lose that as well. So they may say, oh, look, we're being less political because when you think Disney being political, you think woke media, but you also think their fight in Florida. So these things are also interconnected, which is why I've been covering both because they go hand in hand.
Yeah, that is very, very interesting. So yeah, thanks for the update there. It should be. I can't wait to hear your analysis as this moves forward.
Yeah, and there's going to be more updates with the lawsuits. Obviously, I'll stay up on top on that whenever there's a major thing. I try not to nitpick if it's just something like setting a schedule or do something else. I'll bring it up as part of a stream that I'm streaming on many other topics. I'll bring it up on Twitter, but sometimes there's only very minor updates. But I imagine that Disney is going to eventually back out. They're going to rage quit and we're going to see that. We're going to see that soon if they don't get blown out in court. I think it'd be smart for them to say, "Oh, we're stepping down from being political now," because they can try to recover the damage they've done to the stock financially, to the company financially, because clearly they're on a bear trajectory. If you look at their overall trend, they're definitely on a downward slide. So we have not seen the bottom yet, and I think Bob's trying to pull them out of the bottom, and it's just not working.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, let's grab some of these super chats that have to do with the subject, then we can bounce off of those.
I know.
We got Ray Young 74 who says, Andre, so unless Big Bob has his very own red wedding, he's CEO until he walks away. Now, what this is referring to, Andrew, just so you know, is somebody had asked, what would it take basically in so many words to get rid of Bob? And basically, you'd have to fire the whole board because they're his handpicked people.
They're his people.
The only way to get rid of him as of right now, this moment, is if the board fires him. And the only way the board is going to fire him is if the shareholders, every single shareholder who is not affiliated with BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, if all of them bound together and they fire the board, and they get a new one, then that board can fire. That's the only way it's going to happen. Other than that, Iger is dictator of Disney for life, because it's not Disney anymore. It's the Bob Iger company until he decides otherwise.
Chances are very low.
That's not going to happen because all these board members that are on this board have either been anointed by BlackRock or State Street, or they've been anointed and picked by Bob. And so no one's going to go against their patron. And none of these people,
that's what I mean. That's why that needs to be replaced.
So my belief is that Disney would have to, it would take an earth-shattering cataclysmic event such as the stock dropping into the 50s, 40s, and cratering in order for them to feel that they have an overwhelming sense to do something to the detriment of what their woke-ass patrons who appointed them to this board would otherwise tell them to do, because not one of these people, if we brought it up on the screen and went down person by person, all dozen of these morons, not one of these people is willing to do what should be done for this company and all the customers that spend billions of dollars at its theme parks. Every single one of these is a woke-ass appointee who has a patron, and there's no way that they're going to go against Pop Iger any more than John Campia will. There's no reason any of these board members will ever go against them to do what is right and not what their patron wants.
Yeah. Which was my point. The only way that happens is if someone is able to replace the entire board. And that's going to take... I don't even know if there's enough shareholders left once you remove Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street.
They've all got to collaborate. They've all got to work together to overthrow it, or you've got to have some massive shareholder suit where the liability is just so large that they're like, okay, well, this is not worth it. But, frankly... it's a real long shot. I mean, that's about as much as Kathleen Kennedy having having some epiphany and suddenly stopping hating men. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So, but Mike, the detailed composition of Disney's shareholders better than I do. Is there any chance that if all the shareholders, apart from those who are in on this, banded together, that they would be able to actually overthrow the board and make some change?
I have a hard time thinking that, because the way the numbers are working, there's 6 of them that are, I know for a fact that there are 6 of them from a highly placed source that are literally anointed by BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard. I'm sorry, BlackRock and Vanguard. I apologize. I got my woke ass firms mixed up. So that right there. That right there is 6. That right there is 5 or 6 of them.
More than half the board right there.
Right. And that leaves the other ones, that's diverse. I could go down the list. There's not, and then you look at their corporate experience. None of these people on this board actually have media, entertainment, or theme park, amusement park, family experience. None of them have any experience to be on this board. They come from tech or this or that. None of them have, any kind of experience that would lend them. They don't have, going back to what Tom said earlier, they don't have someone who's been in studios for 20, 30 years coming on board. And, when they got rid of the guy from Marvel, that's a guy that should have been on the board and stayed on the board. But no, they jettisoned his ass because he knows what should be done. All of these people are, but if you look at their pictures on the website, if you go to Disney Investor Relations, boy, don't they look like the woke colors of Benetton rainbow.
It's so true, though. It's
right,
so true.
Right, Andrew?
They check the boxes. They check all of the boxes that they need to check for ESG. Yes,
I can bring it up on the big screen and I can say, okay,
do it. You should really do it.
Do we have a brown mofo? Yeah. Hold on, let me find that motherfucker.
Do it right. No, I'm sorry. It's too funny. It's like so funny because like it's from Central Casting. It's like, okay, we need a brown guy. You know, we need a woman. You know, it's like the whole lineup. That's just it's absolutely it's mind numbing. But I mean, this is the thing when you get lackeys instead of people that actually know what they're doing. And frankly, to me, the real lawsuit from the shareholders is them shirking their financial duties, shirking their fiduciary responsibilities, saying, look, these people are not qualified, right? You've elected a board that is not qualified as a board, and they're clearly not looking after the best interest of the country. They're looking after the best interest of the agenda. But sorry, the company, not the country. That's certainly not the country.
Well, they want to control the country. That's the other part.
yeah, you're right.
We're going to do a couple more super chats. Then I have
but look at this.
Question here on that
so crazy.
Yeah, here's your Central Casting Board of Directors, and just as
yep.
Yeah, Pilgrim Media says for $2, international hedge funds are the puppet masters, and that is indeed right. And just looking at this board right here, I have a question just to go with this discussion here. Andrew, in light of the recent CNBC expose, which actually puts it in writing that this board right here are incompetent. They are Bob Iger loyalists who's hired because of their friendship. Like their only qualification, most of them people, are their personal association to him. This is stated in the CNBC article, and it cannot be refuted because it's public, the kind of background they have. Is this any kind of
standing? Yeah, it is.
You know where I'm going. Can you sue based on that article?
Yes. I mean, we've seen the other shareholder lawsuits that have sued under similar circumstance. Okay, so it's a personal nepotistic relationship, right? So that's bad. That's a breach of their duty to the company, right? To actually hire competent people as part of the board. And then beyond that, they've intentionally made decisions or shirked decisions or gotten into situations that have lost the company money, that continue to destroy the value of the company, continue to make the company just absolutely tank. They continue to not check Bob Iger. They're not the effective check. It's supposed to be the board. It should be, in an ideal situation, should be sort of like the U.S. government, where there's like the legislative branch, the executive, and judiciary, right? Like there should be a check and a balance, right?
This
but
is
there
more
is
like
none.
a royal court.
Yes.
You know, the lords are appointed to various landowners to enable King John to take over for King Richard while he's at the Crusades.
Yeah, and which is a problem. Like that's the same thing that happens in the CCP with like President Xi when he has a bunch of like sycophants, right? That just tell you what you want to hear. And of course, everything is sunshine and rainbows and pixie dust, which is probably why they're spending most of the money, all that 60 billion or whatever the hell number they announced. Most of that's going into Asia or cruise ships, right? It's not going into America. It's not going to Disney World, Disneyland, whatever else. Or it's going into DVC, which I can say as a person who was in the timeshare industry, it's extraordinarily profitable, but it has nothing to do with the theme park business or the theme park experience. That 60 billion, to say that 60 billion is going to parks, no, it's going to parks, experiences, and whatever the hell else is the name. It's everything that's not media, right? Including DVC and cruises, which is the bulk of that money. So they're really not doing what they should be focusing on, which frankly, in my opinion, is the parks, which is the most neglected sector of Disney. So my 2 cents.
So these are right here. If we exclude Bob, these right here are the 4, 8, 9, 10, the 10 people that are most responsible for what happens at Disney. But let's look at today. Derica Rice, 2019. Calvin, 2021. Maria Lagosino, 2015. So the longest running one there's 8 years. Mary Tiabara, 17. Stafford Katz, 18. Amy Chang, 2021. Michael Froman, 18. Carolyn Everson, 22. Francis D'Souza, 18. These are all rookies, people. Rookies. They haven't even been there that long. So they're going to do whatever they're told to do in their appointed positions. Boy, Mark Parker, chairman of the board. Where's he come from? Nike? Yeah, there's a company that cares about human rights and is all about I mean, there you go. There you go.
But
the
what
number
does this look like, Mike? This looks like something we've already seen in another area of Hollywood. The producer in the writers' room. They hire the writers that will do what they want. They don't hire the writers that will give them the best quality of what they need. Same thing with actors. Same thing with directors. You're seeing the formula right here on the screen of exactly what the problem is.
Yep. It's the yes men and women, right?
Yeah.
And actually increasingly women. I think it's actually a majority female board. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10. So it's 50-50. So we
and if you less out Bob, right, then it's majority female without Bob.
10, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's 5 out of 10.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, it's 5 out of 10. But still.
Yeah, still.
But still. We got 5 out of 10,
50-50 for the sake of 50-50.
Look, we got a biotech guy. That's helpful. A tennis shoe guy. That's helpful. Right? We got she managed the family office of investments. Boy, that's going to be real helpful running a global multimedia and parks company. Derica, where'd he come from? CVS? Yeah, that's going to be real helpful. Let's get a pharmacy guy on the Disney board. That's awesome.
And now we have 2 pharmacy guys so far.
Oh, wait, don't worry, guys. We got Calvin. Calvin comes from
Lululemon. Oh, now, come on now. Those Mickey branded, Lulus, that's going to be good. Put Mickey Mouse on here. Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, we got Michael Froman who is formerly from the Council on Foreign Relations. That's
Wait,
going to be
are you saying
helpful.
he's not the Sausage King of Chicago?
Yeah, well, yeah, true. That's
Abe
true,
Froman.
Oh, that's Abe Froman. Must be his brother.
Instacart. Now that's a good one. Come on. Can you
Carolyn
not
comes from Instacart. That's going to be key, getting that Disney money from the Instacarts when you're trying to sell turkey legs, by Treasure Island or whatever. Safra Katz, yeah, she's going to be real helpful. She comes from Oracle. Boy, I'm sure she's done a good job of making sure the financials are accurate, right? Wrong. Oh, and then our buddy Amy Chang, this yo-yo, Procter and Gamble, right? And she did a little startup that got bought out from Google. Yeah, she's a lot of help. Thanks. Mary, where'd she come from? Oh,
see, this is the problem. You guys are looking at this like these are bugs. No, to Iger, the bugs are the perks, right?
They're features, yeah.
Yes.
They're features, exactly.
They think differently, that's the
Well, not just that, they have connection to other avenues of cash flow and know people who know people and know people.
And we had 3 people in there that had some connection to Big Pharma.
Bingo.
That's very that should be very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
You get your shot on your way into the park, guys.
This is your brain trust
booster. Yeah.
Are you guys excited for your leaders?
I sincerely hope that Disney shareholders are able to start a class action lawsuit or something. Seriously, if you're a Disney shareholder and you've read the CNBC video, you've seen some legal mindset videos, you've seen some WDW Pro, you've seen some Valiant Renegade, you've seen some Midnight Sedge, you're frustrated. What's happening not just to our culture, but more specifically to your investment? What should you do? If you're a Disney shareholder,
I mean, you should definitely be contacting somebody, because at this point, here's the thing: the stock is down. You're not getting your return. So the thought is, while the stock is down, now is a time to sue them. They are weak and vulnerable. So why not sue now? This is my message to shareholders: do it now when they're weak and they're going to settle. You'll get more money now. If you wait until they're riding a high and they're at $200 a share, something like that, if they ever get back there again.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean,
well, maybe with like massive inflation in the U.S. dollar, but aside from that, right? So in terms of their valuation doubling or tripling, good luck with that, right? In the near future. So take your money now, take it while they're going to have to settle with TSG, where they're going to have to settle with the pensioners, they're going to have to settle with the other shareholder lawsuit. So all those are going to have to end up being settled. So just add your suit against Iger and the board right now, because even with the pensioners, they actually, remember, the pensioners only sued for the Chapek era. They reserved the right to sue again for the Iger era. So why not just tack it on now? Now, maybe the pensioners are smart. They're saving it so they can do it later. But I think the other people, other than the pensioners, I think everybody should do it now. Sue now, get the money now. I think now is the time to do it. I think they're probably scared. Maybe they think there's not enough people. But you'd be surprised. And, you can bring a claim even with a small percentage of stock. So, I would be highly considering it.
Yeah. Well,
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There, you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe, and join us.